Today's topic should help a lot of people out. It's something I get asked more than anything else, if I'm honest, and that is, where do I host my DJ mixes? Let's get into that today.
I'm DJ Blighty. Who the hell are you?
DJ Blighty.
Hi guys, I'm DJ Blighty and you're now tuned into DJ Blighty TV. As I mentioned, today's topic is, where do I host my DJ mixes? This is something I get asked very frequently by not only new DJs but even experienced DJs who maybe don't have an online presence. It's something that's been a hot topic for debate of late, and there is many reasons behind it. Now we're going to get into the key areas today, and there are 4 main places where you can host your mixes, and we're going to go into each one in a bit of detail. But really, when we get down to the nitty gritty, we're going to put Soundcloud up against Mixcloud because they're the 2 main contenders, and that's where we're going to put our focus at. So first of all, let's talk about the other 2, and that is YouTube and iTunes. Now firstly, YouTube is something a bit unusual. I've never personally put DJ mixes on YouTube. The reason being the copyright problems. Now what I notice on YouTube, I don't know how they do it, but there's DJs that I am probably you have never heard of. They'll put something like best of R&B 2014 mix or something along those lines, and you'll go on it and it'll have millions and millions of plays, and it's like, okay, how? Basically, YouTube are very strict on music content. If you put even a minute of an original song at full volume on YouTube, they're going to take it down. Okay, they've got bots that basically go through content and they will take it down. So if you do want to put music on YouTube, there is a way around it, which I did a bit of research on, and that is basically pitching up the music. By that I mean speeding it up. Generally it sounds terrible because you've got to get at least a 6% change in order for the bots not to pick up the original content, and it's not going to make your mix sound great. So from my personal opinion and view, I wouldn't attempt YouTube. No offense to anyone out there that does. If you do it and it works for you, then I salute you, but personally I wouldn't even risk it, because if you built up a base of kind of listeners on YouTube, then goes what you're going to do next. Next one we're going to move on to is iTunes. Now this is something I have experience in, as I have used it in the past. Back when I was in my DJ crew, we used iTunes for a number of years on their podcast section. Now I haven't used it for some time, but having said that, it was at the time a very good tool. It's obviously Apple endorsed, so it's got that little ring to it, but the only downside being you have to pay for web hosting. So if you get up into the sort of 10s, 20s in your mixes, number of mixes, then you're going to start having to pay more and more just for the actual hosting of the files, and then you do have to pay server space as well. So it's just an expensive one that personally I don't use now. I've gone solo, and I wouldn't advise it because I don't know how it's kind of working out with the new Apple Music and podcast, etc. I wouldn't dismiss it completely, but my tips and advice are going to be towards the next 2, which are Mixcloud and Soundcloud. But iTunes is an option. It's difficult to get on there. You do have to submit your application, should we call it, a good few months before you actually get on there. But there are people out there that will help you. So if you are interested in going down that avenue, give me a shout and I will point you to a few people that can talk you through what you need to do. But personally, I wouldn't do it. There are other places out there, to name 1 or 2, Podomatic. I don't hear much about that anymore. Pretty much the main ones, which I said we're going to talk about, are Mixcloud and Soundcloud. So we're going to get into that in a bit more detail now, because we really need to work out which one is going to be the best if you are just starting out and you want to start building a listener base and a following. If you're already established and you're maybe, you've built your following for years on SoundCloud and you're a bit skeptical about going on to Mixcloud, we're going to weigh up the pros and cons and see which one is best for you. But I can tell you now, I am going to sway you towards Mixcloud for the main reason, and that's the first thing we're going to talk about, which is why of late a lot of DJs have been coming off SoundCloud and making the transition to Mixcloud. And you might wonder why. Now what's happened, basically, when I was in my DJ crew, we used Soundcloud when it first came out, and we hosted hundreds of mixes on there. We built up a large following, regular listeners, and we had millions of plays. And basically what happened, with no warning, our account got disabled and we lost absolutely everything. We lost the mixes, some of which we didn't have backups for, so they're just completely gone. We lost all of our follower information. We had thousands and thousands of followers, all gone, no way to contact them to say you can find us here or anything. So it was a massive disappointment, and here's the key reason as to why it happened. Basically on SoundCloud, there are copyright infringement laws placed as there are on YouTube. Of late they've started getting a little bit more strict on these. I think the last probably 12, maybe 18 months they've really tightened up. It happened to our SoundCloud, I think about maybe 9 months, maybe a year ago. And they do give you a warning. You get 2 warnings, like 2 strikes, and then your 3rd and final strike, you're out. So I did a bit of research into why this is actually happening, and it seems that only one record label is to blame, and that is Universal Music Group. For some reason they've been attacking DJs and DJ mixes on SoundCloud because basically they're not receiving any royalties for the music getting played. I put the argument to SoundCloud, look, we're only playing a minute or 2 of the song. It's promotion for the song. We obtain the material legally through record pools, so really, why is it such a problem? But that's the answer they came back with, so I looked into it a bit further, and there it is, Universal Music Group. So basically, to get around it, what you're looking at doing is playing a mix or a set with no records from Universal Music Group. Now, for me, that would be quite difficult because they have a lot of good artists on there that produce a lot of good music. So that would mean eliminating that, and I don't really want, as a creative, to eliminate anything I like or want to play from my set. So that's one of the reasons that's not an option for me. My SoundCloud's still active, fortunately, my personal SoundCloud, but I haven't posted any content on there, and I am on my 2nd strike already, so that could go one day. Hence the reason that I started my solo DJ journey on Mixcloud. Now, the reason Mixcloud is so popular and successful right now is because they actually pay royalties to the record labels and the companies to host your mixes. It might not be much, probably similar to other streaming sites like Spotify and Apple Music, but they are getting paid. So that's what you've got to look at. When a record label plays a song on a radio, on a TV advert, on a music video, on YouTube, all these things, they're getting royalties. They're very small amounts, they're like 0.01% or something ridiculous, but they are getting paid for the plays that that song is receiving. So you can understand, you know, with all the piracy and things like that, why they've tightened up. For DJs, I think it's unfair, in my own opinion, because we're the ones that actually promote the music and push it out to new audiences. But hey ho, unless you're on a big national radio station, that's not an option in 2016. So that's the main reason why Mixcloud wins over SoundCloud. There are pros and cons. Mixcloud, you can't download your mixes, whereas on SoundCloud you can. Now, is that a massive issue? To me personally, not really. I mean, if people want to hear your mixes, they can return to the site. Mixcloud has an app which you can put on your Android and your iPhone. You can play it anywhere, anytime. Yes, it's going to rinse your 3G. I do get people moaning to me sometimes that their 3G's all gone, but you know, you're enjoying listening to the mixes, and they're always there for you to listen no matter what time of day. There's the odd technical difficulty here and there, but nothing that is going to stop you from listening on a regular basis. I find the community aspect on Mixcloud to be a lot stronger than SoundCloud. I don't know why, but I've built up a bigger following on Mixcloud than I did on SoundCloud. I think it's something to do with the fact that there's like a stream of action called a feed. So basically, when your followers listen to a mix, favourite a mix, repost a mix, that comes up on their followers' feeds, and that's how it feeds through. So, you know, in that respect, it is generating new listeners for you. I find when I put a new mix up, I'll receive a lot more followers than if I don't. So that's obviously part of that reason. It's really simple to use. I like the interface of Mixcloud, the way it gives you tags. There are actually charts that you tag your genres of music and you'll actually get charted based on the popularity of the mix, which again is giving you even more exposure to new audiences you may not have seen before. So there are a lot of positive reasons to use it. It's free as well. You do have the option to purchase a pro account, which I think is $34.95 for the whole year, which allows you to look at all the analytics and the statistics, etc. But for free you can host as many mixes as you like. It does not matter how much space you use on this site, whereas SoundCloud you have to pay for that privilege. So there you go, that's the main pros and cons for SoundCloud versus Mixcloud. If you want to listen to my mixes or see my Mixcloud just to see what I'm talking about, then it's www. Not that I need to say that, mixcloud.com/DJ Blighty. And yeah, basically that's it. That's a wrap for today's video. So my advice, my opinion, if you're a new DJ, a DJ who's just looking into moving your mixes online, then Mixcloud is 110% the one for you, okay? If you have any questions or any comments, or if you'd like to share your own opinion on this topic, feel free to hit me up on the comments below or on Twitter, which is @DJ Blighty. I have had a lot of questions on this topic, so that's the reason I've done the video on it today. I hope it helps a lot of you out. If you want a little bit more detail or any advice, please feel free to hit me up. Funnily enough, I do at the end of my videos say about asking questions and things, and I had a non-DJ related question about the beard growth, because I don't know what it is. People must be noticing that the beard is getting a little bit thicker. It's nothing to do with the channel, and there's not much to it. You just literally, if you're a man, grow hair on your face. But it's something I might actually go into in the future if it will help a lot of people out, because there is a little bit to do with kind of grooming and things like that. But we'll see. In the meantime, I've got a few other questions that have come in from new DJs that I'll cover the next few topics. Please subscribe for future content on similar topics all related to the DJ world. Thanks again for watching, and I'll see you on the next video. Peace.